Okay, so let's talk about something I think we all see pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Instagram stories, right?
For sure.
You're scrolling through and you see something really amazing. You're like, bam, I
Yeah.
want to share this with everyone.
Yeah.
But then you kind of stop. And you're like, wait, can I even repost this thing?
Right.
And that's what we're talking about today on this deep dive.
Absolutely.
We're going to be your guide to the sometimes tricky world of Instagram story reposting.
Yeah, it's a question I get a lot, actually.
Really?
People are always like, how do I repost a story? What are the rules?
I know, me too.
And honestly,
Yeah.
it really just comes down to understanding a few things about how Instagram works.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Awesome.
So let's just start with like the easiest scenario.
Okay.
Someone tags you in their story.
Yeah, when that happens, Instagram makes it super easy.
Okay.
You get a notification right in your DMs, and it says, hey, you've been tagged.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a button right there that says, add to your story.
Oh, so you just click it.
Yeah, just a couple taps, and you're basically good to go.
So it's like instant sharing gratification.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's easy.
But we're not like stuck with their story exactly as it is, right?
Nope.
Can we add our own spin to it?
For sure.
Yeah.
You could totally customize these reposts.
Oh, cool.
Just like you would your own stories. You can add stickers or text or GIFs,
Nice.
whatever you want.
Yeah, so it's your chance to like react or add a comment or just be you.
Yeah, just put your personality into it.
Okay, so that's the easy part.
Mhm.
But I feel like things get a little trickier when we haven't been tagged in a story.
You're right.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to share this. But I just wasn't sure how.
I think everybody's been there.
Yeah.
And I think to understand why that is, we have to think about how Instagram is designed.
Okay.
Like their whole philosophy is
Yeah.
about giving people control over their stuff.
What do you mean?
So like they really emphasize user control and content ownership.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they want people to be able to decide how their work gets shared.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's why you can't just directly repost something if you're not tagged.
Right, because then people would just be taking other people's content all the time.
Exactly.
So it's to protect creators.
Yeah, basically.
But like, we're not completely stuck, are we?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
There are definitely some workarounds,
Okay.
each with its own, like, pros and cons.
Gotcha.
So the first one, and probably the easiest, is just asking the person to tag you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just shoot them a DM,
Makes sense.
especially if you know them already.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are happy to do it,
Cool.
especially if it's like a friend or you're collaborating on something.
Right.
But I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might not feel comfortable doing that.
Totally.
Or maybe it's like a big account and you don't know them personally.
Yeah, or I'm just like scrolling and I find something amazing, but I have no idea who this person is.
Right.
So what then?
So that's where these third-party apps come in.
Okay.
There are a bunch of them.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and they're made specifically for downloading Instagram stories.
Interesting.
But this is super important.
Okay.
You have to get permission before you download and repost.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like a free-for-all.
No, you can't just take whatever you want.
Okay, permission is key.
Absolutely.
We can't forget about respecting people and their work.
Exactly.
So let's say, hypothetically, I'm in a rush.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to, like, message someone or figure out a new app.
Okay.
What's my last resort?
Well, there's always the classic screenshot or screen recording.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You can just capture the story that way and then upload it to your own.
Okay.
But again, this is so important. You have to credit the original creator.
Of course.
Yeah, like tag them clearly. Make it super obvious you're reposting their content.
Okay, so it's like we have a bunch of different options.
Yeah.
Reposting when tagged is super easy.
Totally.
But when we're not tagged, it's all about knowing the workarounds.
Yep.
And of course, like being respectful.
For sure.
But why are there all these limitations in the first place?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It all comes back to this balance
What do you mean?
that Instagram's trying to find
Okay.
between making it easy to share,
Right.
but also protecting people who make stuff.
So the rules are there to help everyone, basically.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can get behind that.
It's a tricky thing to get right,
Yeah.
but these rules and the workarounds, they're all part of making it work.
So in a way, it's like a good thing, right?
I think so.
It makes me feel better knowing that if I make a cool story,
Yeah.
people can't just take it without at least giving me a shout out.
Exactly.
Okay, so that makes me feel a little better.
Good.
But I bet all this can be kind of frustrating for users sometimes.
It definitely can be.
Like what happens when you try to share a story and Instagram's like, nope, not going to happen.
It happens.
Yeah.
So remember, there are a few reasons why you might not be able to share.
Okay, like what?
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
you might not be tagged in the story.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's like the most basic thing.
Right.
But there are other reasons too.
Oh, okay, like what?
Well, some accounts just straight up don't let you share their stories.
Really?
Yeah, they can turn off sharing in their settings.
Oh, wow.
They have that power.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And of course, you have private accounts,
Right.
which are a whole other thing.
So that makes sense.
But it's not just as simple as public versus private.
Wait, really?
Yeah, even within private accounts, there are different levels of privacy.
That's interesting.
So some private accounts might let their followers share their stories,
Okay.
while others might not let anyone share anything.
So it really depends on how they've set things up.
Exactly.
Okay, so that solves one mystery for me. Good.
But here's another one that's always bugged me.
Okay, what is it?
Sometimes I find these amazing stories that are like multiple parts.
Yeah, multi-part stories.
Yeah.
They can be great.
But Instagram only lets me repost one part.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen.
What is it?
So there are a few things that could be going on.
Like what?
Well, first, it could be a permissions thing.
Okay.
Maybe the person who made the story has limited sharing for some parts.
Right.
Or it could be a tagging issue.
Oh.
Or it could even be a technical problem on Instagram's end.
So sometimes it's them, not me.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
In those cases, the best thing you can do
Yeah.
is just double check that you're tagged correctly if you're supposed to be.
Okay.
Make sure the person is allowing sharing, and then make sure your app is updated
Okay.
and that your internet's working properly.
So start with the basics.
Yeah, always a good idea.
Okay. Well, so far we've talked about how to repost and why the rules are the way they are. But what happens when you see something that just shouldn't be on Instagram?
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, like something that's inappropriate or harmful.
Right.
I know we should report that stuff,
Definitely.
but it can be kind of intimidating.
I get it.
So can you walk us through it?
Of course. Like, how do we actually do it?
So the main thing to remember
Mhm.
is that Instagram has these community guidelines
Mm-hmm.
to keep the platform safe and respectful.
Makes sense.
If you see something that breaks those guidelines,
Okay.
you should definitely report it.
All right. So how?
It's actually pretty easy.
Okay.
You just open the post or story,
Mm-hmm.
tap those three little dots in the corner,
Yep.
select report,
Okay.
and then choose the reason that fits the situation.
Wow. You make it sound so easy.
It is pretty straightforward.
It's just like, I forget sometimes that reporting isn't just about protecting myself.
Right.
It's about helping everyone on the platform.
You got it.
It's like we're all in this together.
Exactly. And it goes back to what we've been talking about with reposting.
Absolutely.
Even when we're sharing other people's content,
Mm-hmm.
we have to remember that we have a responsibility to keep things positive.
I agree.
It's all connected.
It really is.
Okay, so before we go any further, I
Okay.
want to answer a couple of common questions that we get from our listeners.
Sounds good.
All right, so first up,
Uh,
and this is a big one.
okay.
Why can't I share a story?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit already.
Right, but it's worth repeating, I think.
Definitely.
Okay, so to recap.
Okay, so the main reasons you can't share a story
Mm-hmm.
are you're not tagged,
Mm-hmm.
the account has sharing turned off,
Okay,
or it's the private account with its own rules.
perfect.
Nice and simple.
Short, sweet, to the point. I like it.
Easy peasy.
Okay, next question.
Right, shoot.
This one comes up all the time, too.
Okay.
Why can't I repost the entire story?
Oh, yeah. I bet a lot of people have run into that.
I know I have.
So remember, there are a few possible reasons for this.
Okay.
It could be permissions,
Right?
tagging issues, or
Yeah.
just a technical glitch on Instagram's side.
Ugh, so annoying.
I know.
So what should I do?
The first thing
Yeah,
is to double check those things.
like the permissions and the tags.
Yep.
Okay.
And if it's still not working,
Uh-huh.
well, sometimes you just got to accept that the internet is being weird.
Okay.
That happens sometimes.
So we've talked about TAR a lot,
We have.
but there's still so much more to learn
Oh, yeah, definitely.
about the art of the Instagram story repost.
Absolutely.
So let me pick up where we left off after a quick...
Sounds good. It really is an art. Yeah.
Totally. Like, it's not just about hitting that repost button.
Right.
It's about, like, getting why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
we talked about giving credit to the original creator.
Absolutely.
But what are, like, the best ways to do that?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because, things have changed a lot online.
What do you mean?
Like back in the day, a quick tag might have been enough.
Uh-huh.
But now I think it's more about showing that you actually appreciate the person's work.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Well, for starters, make sure that tag is really easy to see.
Okay.
Don't like bury it under a million stickers or
Yeah.
a ton of text.
Makes sense.
You want people to know right away who made the original content.
So visual clarity is key.
Exactly.
So what about actually writing something?
Oh, yeah.
Like, do I have to write a novel every time I repost?
No, not a novel.
Okay.
But a few words can go a long way.
Okay. Look what?
Something like loving this tip from, and then tag their username.
Okay.
And then you can say, check out their page for more amazing content.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's short. It's sweet.
It gives credit, and it encourages people to check out the original creator.
Exactly.
It's a win-win.
I've also seen people using those mention stickers.
Oh, yeah, those are cool.
Those are great.
Are those good, too?
Yeah, those are awesome because they make the tag interactive.
Oh, right.
So when someone taps on it,
Yeah,
they go straight to the creator's profile.
that's really smart.
It's an easy way to send people their way.
Okay, so we've got tagging, we've got writing a little blurb.
Yep.
We've got the mention stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other creative ways to give credit that we're maybe forgetting?
Oh, there's one that people forget all the time.
What's that?
You can actually just see the person's name out loud.
Oh, you mean like in a voiceover?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you're doing a voiceover on your story, just take a second to say, hey, I'm reposting this from so-and-so.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
I've seen people do that,
Mm-hmm.
and it always makes me, pay more attention.
It feels more genuine.
Yeah, like they're really excited to share it.
Right. It's not just mindless reposting.
So it's like being mindful and intentional.
Exactly.
It's not just about sharing to share.
Yep.
It's about adding value and giving credit.
You got it. So reposting can actually be a really powerful tool
It can.
for building community
Mm-hmm.
and sharing knowledge.
Absolutely.
But it's so important to do it the right way.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so let's say I've mastered all these techniques.
Okay.
I'm giving credit like a pro.
Awesome.
I'm feeling great.
Love it.
What's next?
Well, now we start thinking about strategy.
Okay.
Like, why are we reposting in the first place?
Right.
It's not just about sharing cool stuff.
So tell me more about this strategy stuff.
Okay, so one of the biggest reasons to repost
Yeah.
is to get more people to see your profile.
Oh, okay. How does that work?
When you repost something from someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you're basically tapping into their audience.
Oh, that's smart.
Their followers might see your repost
Uh-huh.
and then be like, hey, this is cool. I should check out this other account too.
So it's like borrowing their audience for a minute.
Exactly.
And it helps the original creator too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because more people are seeing their stuff.
It's a win-win.
So it's not just about taking,
No.
it's about giving back to the community.
For sure.
But reposting can also help you build relationships with other creators. Right?
Absolutely. It's a great way to show support,
Okay.
to collaborate, and just to connect with people in your niche.
So it's like saying, hey, I see you, I appreciate your work, and I want to share it with my people.
Exactly. It's all about those good vibes
I love that.
and mutual support.
But I think some people are hesitant to repost
Really, why?
because they're worried it makes them look like they're not creating their own stuff.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
I think the key is balance.
What do you mean?
Like, you don't want your whole feed to be reposts,
Right.
but if you do it strategically,
Okay.
it can actually make your own content stronger.
Okay. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, and it can help build your brand identity.
Oh.
Well, when you repost things that are relevant to you,
Mm-hmm.
you're showing your audience what you're all about.
Oh.
It's like you're creating a mood board for your brand,
That's a great way to put it.
but you're using other people's content to do it.
It shows that you're paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, you're part of the community.
So it's not about being unoriginal.
Yep.
It's about adding another layer to your brand.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked about this before.
Ah.
But I want to come back to getting permission when you repost.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
Why is so crucial?
It's about ethics.
Okay.
Just because something's out there online
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's yours to take.
right.
Everything online belongs to someone,
Okay.
and they have the right to decide how it's used.
So it's about respect.
Yeah, it's about respecting people's work.
And honestly, it's just polite.
It really is.
It takes 2 seconds to send a message and say, hey, can I share this?
And it makes a big difference.
It builds trust.
Totally.
And it creates a more positive online space.
Exactly.
So to sum it up,
Mhm.
reposting can be amazing for your Instagram,
For sure.
but you have to be intentional and respectful
Yep.
and understand the ethics of it all.
I think that's a great way to put it.
It's all about finding that balance between sharing and respect.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I feel like we've covered so much today.
We have.
But before we wrap up, I
All right.
want to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
We've talked about all the technical stuff
Hmm.
and the ethical stuff.
Right.
But what about the emotional side of reposting?
Oh, that's a great point.
How can we use reposting to connect with our audience on a deeper level?
That's what makes social media so powerful.
How so?
It's not just about sharing information.
Okay.
It's about sharing emotions and experiences and perspectives.
So it's not just the what, it's the why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about the stuff you choose to repost.
Okay.
What are you trying to say with it?
Mm-hmm.
What feelings are you trying to evoke?
Yeah.
Are you trying to inspire or educate or entertain or just make someone's day?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like making a playlist for your followers.
That's a perfect analogy.
But instead of songs, you're sharing stories and posts.
And just like a good playlist,
Yeah.
a well-curated selection of reposts can tell a story
Mm-hmm.
or create a mood or even start conversations.
Okay, so how do we make sure those reposts are hitting the right emotional notes?
The most important thing is to be authentic.
What do you mean?
Share stuff that you actually care about.
Okay.
Stuff that aligns with your values.
Mm.
Stuff that you think your followers will connect with.
Don't just share things because they're trendy.
Right. Choose things that you actually like.
So share from the heart.
Exactly.
Okay, I can do that.
And don't be afraid to add your own personal touch.
Like how?
Tell people why you're sharing something.
Okay.
Tell them what you think about it.
Yeah.
Invite them to share their thoughts, too.
So turn it into a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and what about being vulnerable?
Vulnerability is huge.
In what way?
Don't be afraid to show your human side.
Okay.
Share your struggles, your triumphs, the things that inspire you.
Right.
People connect with that.
So reposting is more than just a technical skill.
It really is.
It's an art form. It's a way to build community.
Yep.
And it's a way to connect with people on a deeper level.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on today.
We have.
But before we move on to our final thoughts,
Okay.
I'd love to hear what you're seeing out there on Instagram.
Oh, you mean like trends and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, are there any big changes happening?
Well, one thing that's been really interesting
Yeah.
is the rise of video content.
Video content.
Yeah, like Reels.
Oh, yeah. Reels are everywhere these days.
They've exploded in popularity.
Yeah, they have.
And that's definitely changing how people are using Instagram.
So does that mean we all have to become, like, expert video editors now?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
Reels can be really simple.
Okay.
Or they can be super fancy.
Yeah.
It just depends what you want to do.
Gotcha. So it's like finding creative ways to use video for reposting.
Exactly.
Okay.
One easy thing you can do
Yeah.
is add a voiceover to a repost.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so you can share your thoughts while the video is playing, or you can react to things,
Okay.
or just give people some extra info.
So it's like adding my own little commentary to the video.
Exactly.
I like that.
It makes it more personal and engaging.
Okay. And what about like music and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Can we use that too?
Instagram has a ton of tools for editing videos.
Really?
Yeah, you can add music, text
Okay.
overlays, transitions, all kinds of stuff.
Wow. So the possibilities are endless.
Pretty much.
But we should still be using them thoughtfully, right?
Absolutely.
Not just throwing things in randomly.
Right. Don't just add stuff for no reason.
Okay.
Make sure it actually adds something to the video.
So as we move into this video first world, it's all about finding that balance between being creative and having a purpose.
Exactly. Don't just be flashy, be meaningful.
I love that.
And the coolest thing about Instagram
Yeah,
is that it's always changing.
that's true.
So there's always something new to learn,
Okay.
new things to try, new ways to connect with your audience.
It never gets boring.
Not at all.
Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything today.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot.
From the basics of reposting
Ah,
to the ethics of it all
right.
and how to use it strategically.
Yep.
I feel like we could keep going,
Me too.
but I know our listeners have other things to do.
Yeah, they probably want to go try out all this stuff.
Exactly. So before we go,
Mm-hmm.
any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Just remember that reposting is a powerful tool.
Okay.
It's a way to connect with people, to inspire them, to build community.
Yeah.
So use it wisely,
Mm-hmm.
use it creatively,
Uh-huh.
and most importantly, use it to make the internet a better place.
I love that.
It's all about making those positive connections.
Well said. Well, on that note, I think it's time to say goodbye.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Instagram story reposting.
It's been fun.
We hope you learned some valuable stuff.
I hope.
Happy reposting, everyone.
See ya.